It's the first day of this summer's Crimewatch Roadshow. Thanks for joining us. Crimewatch Roadshow is all about asking for your help to tackle crime, and for the next month we'll be live every weekday morning with cases from across the country. We've got some really important appeals coming up, but of course we've all been particularly shocked and saddened by the terror attacks over the past months. As a former police officer, my heart goes out to all the victims and their families, and of course the emergency services who've come to their aid. So we're starting the series with a special programme broadcasting live from the new headquarters of the force, which leads on counter-terrorism in the UK. The Metropolitan Police, Michelle Ackerley, is at New Scotland Yard.
Good morning, Rav. Yes, we are starting the new series from the nerve centre of the Met Police. This is the newly refurbished New Scotland Yard, right in the heart of Westminster. And it's from here that much of the response to the recent terror attacks has been coordinated. It's also home to new Commissioner Cressida Dick, who's leading the police operations into the terrorist attacks. We're going to be speaking to her live on the programme a little later on. She's taken some time out of her incredibly busy schedule.
Thanks, Michelle. But now it's time for our first appeal. Sadly, it also involves a fatal stabbing. Knife crime is a particular problem in London, and this morning we need your help to bring about justice for one young man's family.
I'm actually in his shoes, trying to find somebody to help him. I can't breathe. And then I lose it. I just lose it. My child is lying on that road.
20-year-old Lewis Elwyn lived in South London with his family.
Lewis, caring young man, even at her flag. Loved animals, loved playing games, loved drawing. A normal teenager.
He was at the age where he didn't know what he wanted to do.
I like to feel that everyone needs a bit of guidance, a role model. So where I was a qualified electrician and my brother was a qualified plumber, we felt what better way to learn than from your brothers.
And he just wanted to find a job. He just wanted to just work and then belong. He loved his hair. He was into this loose plaits, and he didn't want me to do his hair because he said I was too rough. Because when I combed it. And boys don't like their hair being combed.
On a Monday afternoon in April last year, Lewis was out with his mum. She was dropping him off to see a friend.
I was quite happy to drop him because, you know, I was out and about. We went down to Tooting. He was talking to his sister on the phone, his big sister Tanya, and he was giving me direction of where he wanted to be. He was in very good spirits, very good spirits. He was laughing, he was happy.
CCTV shows Sandra's blue car pulling up on Moyser Road at the junction with Ribblesdale Road.
When I dropped him to where he needed to be, I then bipped the horn because I noticed that his trousers was a little bit low, and I don't like when the trousers are low.
Cameras also captured the moment that Sandra says goodbye to Lewis.
Told him, pull up your trousers, and then he smiled and hopped along the road. I then turned the car around and went to the doctors.
As Lewis made his way down the quiet residential streets of Tooting, he called his friend to let him know he was on his way. But Lewis never made it. With one blow, Lewis was stabbed in the back. He stumbled down the street for a full minute before collapsing to the floor. Sandra got the call telling her what had happened.
I felt shaking driving. I was shaking. I couldn't breathe. I was cold. It was just disbelief that my child was lying down there, and I just dropped him off.
Lewis died at the scene, less than an hour after his mum dropped him off.
To hear the words that he's dead, that's the hardest part, because you just know you're going to come home without them. I never thought I'd bury my child before me. Nobody should have to do that. We wanted to do a march in memory of Lewis. With the placard and the leaflets and the T-shirts, it became more effective. We wanted people to know who's in that coffin and why they're in that coffin. It's because he got stabbed.
Justice will be served, you know. We just got to let the youth understand that, you know, this crime cannot be overlooked.
You can't just stand back and watch this happen to another mother, another youth. You know, when is enough enough?
Nothing justifies you taking a person's life, nothing. And I wouldn't, if it was Lewis that did it to somebody else, I wouldn't have it. No. Somehow, I would turn him in. So I would like to know who did it to my child.
Such a tragic case. Joining me now is Detective Inspector Will Reynolds, who's leading this investigation. Detective, what do we know about Lewis's final movements?
We know Lewis was with his mother that afternoon, and she dropped him off in Moyser Road at about 3:30 in the afternoon. Once he got out of the car, about 3:36, he made a telephone call to a friend nearby. He made his way over to his friend's house, which was around Penwortham Road, but unfortunately he didn't make it because he was attacked and stabbed in the back. Having been stabbed in the back, he went back down Penwortham Road, where unfortunately he collapsed, and despite the best efforts of paramedics and members of the public, he tragically died at about 3:40 p.m.
Not only was this in the middle of the afternoon, it was very close to a school, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was very close to Penwortham Primary School. Now, this was at 3:30 in the afternoon, which would be a time when the school was closing. Mums and dads, parents and carers would be picking up their children, and we're appealing to them to contact us if they've seen anything that could help us solve this murder.
It's a year on now. What is the latest?
Well, the latest is that we believe we've identified a suspect who's a black male who's wearing a blue top and grey jogging trousers. We've got a car which is on CCTV, which is circulating the area. It's a silver Peugeot, and we believe that car is involved in the murder because it was found subsequently, about 3 hours later, burnt out, very close by to the scene. So it's very significant.
Now, there is a reward for this case, isn't there, for information leading to a conviction?
Absolutely. There's a £20,000 reward that's available to try and solve this murder. People are motivated by different things in terms of contacting us, but we hope this amount of money might be an incentive to someone who has seen something, who might be scared or frightened, to contact us and please help us.
We heard Lewis's mum in the film there. She just wants justice for her son, doesn't she?
Absolutely. It's been an incredibly painful time and a very, very difficult year for them. So we're making every effort we can to try and bring justice to them and find the killer of Lewis.
Detective, thank you very much. As you heard there, if you have any information at all, please do get in touch with us. The numbers are on your screen.
Thanks, Michelle. Here's hoping someone watching can help. Time now for some crooks caught on camera in our first CCTV roundup. And just to warn you, one of these is pretty nasty.
Can you spot what happens here in plain sight? This gentleman is paying for his petrol, having placed his car keys next to him on the counter. The station's filled up, but keep your eye on the man wearing a baseball cap and carrying a scarf. Watch what he does closely. Placing his scarf on top of the counter, the man waits for the gentleman to leave before snatching back his scarf along with the car keys. He then follows him out the door. Unable to get into his car, the gentleman comes back to check if he's left the keys behind. While inside, police believe the man in the baseball cap drives off in the victim's pride and joy, a BMW M3. If you recognise this sneaky thief, then call us now. It's nearing Halloween, but what you see next is no trick or treat. A woman is travelling home after a fancy dress party. She's minding her own business. For some reason, the man at the back of the carriage starts to verbally abuse her, then comes over and confronts her. She's having none of it. What he does next is shocking. Headbutting her straight in the face, the victim is knocked back and suffers serious injuries to her teeth. She's still receiving treatment. Police need to catch this violent thug. Name, please. It's a busy Friday afternoon in this pharmacy, but in amongst the shoppers, someone's up to no good. This woman looks like she's casually browsing the aisles, but she's not here to look at these products. She's here to lift them, clearing out entire shelves worth of goods, but she still isn't satisfied. So she just carries on helping herself to even more, and then heads off, cool as a cucumber. But minutes later, and she's back again. Maybe she's remembered to pay. Don't think so. She's here to see how much more she can fit in her bag. No wonder it's big. Police believe this woman is responsible for multiple thefts in the area. On this visit alone, she nabbed £900 worth of cosmetics. Can you help catch this greedy shoplifter?
If you recognise any of that lot, get on the phone now. You can call for free on 08000 468 999, or you can text us on 63399. Text CW space and then your message. Text will be charged at your standard message rate, or send us an email. There's the address. It's cwr@bbc.co.uk.
I've just been speaking to the officer investigating the tragic murder of Lewis Elwyn, a young man who lost his life in South London last year. And sadly, this isn't an isolated incident. Already this year, 37 people have died from stabbings in the capital alone. So I've been finding out what the Met are doing about it.
Enough is enough. We need to do something now.
A 15-year-old boy has been arrested on suspicion of murder.
Hundreds of weapons were seized in schools right across London.
Latest in a spate of stabbings in the capital. Sometimes it feels as though a day doesn't go by without news of more stabbings, nowhere more so than here in the capital, where already this year there's been a shocking number of fatalities.
London has seen a 24% increase in knife crime in the last year. For the Met, taking knives off the street is a priority. Operation Sceptre is the Met's strategy for combating knife crime. The latest phase will see an 80-strong task force involved in knife sweeps and community policing initiatives. The man leading the fight is Detective Chief Superintendent Mick Gallagher.
There's a machete here, it's clearly a sword. There's what looks like a bayonet.
These knives are just part of the haul of weapons taken off the streets last year by Mick and his team.
Each one of these, of itself, is capable of causing fatal injury. It's an element of people carrying knives for their own protection, and we want to say as a police service that this is absolutely the wrong decision to make, and there is no excuse for it.
On a personal level, Mick, you know the impact that knife crime can have on someone's life, don't you?
Sadly, I do. I intervened to protect a friend of mine who was being assaulted and ended up with my throat being cut as a consequence of that.
Mick needed over 60 internal and external stitches and underwent reconstructive surgery. And the weapon that did the damage? A small blade, similar to a carpet knife.
The concern amongst Londoners is that this is reaching an unacceptable level. Every single cop in London is absolutely dedicated to sort of having an enforcement impact on this issue at the moment.
Operation Sceptre is just one part of the Met's strategy to tackle knife crime. Another tactic is to support projects which are helping the community find alternatives to violence.
The new commissioner of the Met is paying a visit to the Double Jab Boxing Club. Every week, PC Gary Arterton runs after-school workshops.
Quite often they're coming to school, so I've got to stop the search for no reason.
He's a friendly face and a role model for the young people training here.
Making sure that they feel comfortable around police, and that their first ever association with police is a positive one, and that's the main thing.
My own view is that knife crime has been too high for a long time, possibly throughout my police service, but for a long time in London and in other big cities. And amongst some of the young people here, there are people who could have got drawn into a life of crime or got tangled up with gangs or been bullied. And coming here, clearly gives them a purpose, a focus, meeting other people, mostly young people,
Gary's grassroots community work helps foster a sense of trust and friendship between local kids and the police.
If something like this just saves one life, or stops a few young people from going into a life of serious crime, then that's a fantastic achievement.
Community policing initiatives at Double Jab have played an invaluable role in reducing knife crime.
But for police on the front line, knives are still a threat they have to face every single day.
I've come to the London Borough of Hackney to meet a police officer who took down a knife-wielding mugger right here on this very street.
I was coming back from Tesco's, walking towards the police station here, and I heard a loud commotion, and as I turned round, there was a young male coming towards me trying to frantically get onto a bike. I then given chase, and he's come across this road here, no bearing with traffic. It was at that point that I was able to get hold of him, pin him to the window. Before I knew it, I saw a knife coming towards me, straight into the arm and down. Oh my gosh.
Once more, the offender tried to escape.
I thought, no, not having this, go chase again.
You actually got up and carried on?
Yes, yeah, carried on. Got further down to the road down here, and a very brave member of the public had managed to get hold of him. Got my handcuffs, handcuffed him with the assistance of a member of the public. I said to him, why did you try and stab me? And he said, he turned and he looked sort of like that, obviously he had his tone, but he turned around and he said, because you wouldn't let me get away.
The attacker was Muhibur Rahman and is now behind bars, serving a 4-year sentence. But for Sergeant Whedon, the day job and the fight against knife crime goes on.
As an officer, for me, am I going to come home? That's the bit I actually feel quite guilty about, because I'm a working parent. If anything happens to me, I could be leaving my family in financial or social or all of those implications. So that's the kind of ripple effect, that's the consequences that one single action can have.
Well, the Met's new Commissioner, Cressida Dick, who we saw in the film there, is with me live. Cressida, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. We'll talk about the latest on the terror attacks in a moment, but firstly, the day-to-day policing of knife crime here in London is a major problem, isn't it? Especially now when we're hearing reports of children, school children even, carrying knives.
We're very concerned about knife crime. I think London remains one of the safest cities in the world, and you've heard earlier about the tragic murder of Lewis and 36 others, as you've said this year. That deeply concerns us. I don't want to take away from that, but actually London has less murders than almost any major city in the world. Nevertheless, we think knife crime is up. We're very concerned about that. We're seizing more knives, we're arresting more people, we're having more people sentenced. But our big message is about prevention. We don't want to see young people and children thinking it's sensible to carry knives. It's not.
And you're a strong supporter, aren't you, of the stop and search techniques, which some people do deem to be quite controversial, but you really think it works?
Well, stop and search is just one thing that we can do. And as I said, I think prevention is better than enforcement. But stop search properly used, I think, is a very powerful tool for my officers. I want them to be confident to use it. Of course, they must be courteous. They must use it lawfully. We use intelligence to particularly stop those people who we know are habitually carrying knives. I think the public would expect us to do that, and I've had lots of support for the comments that I've made.
We can see Westminster Bridge behind us here, which was obviously the scene of the March terrorist attacks, and then most recently, just over a week in fact, there was the London Bridge and Borough market attacks. And we can actually hear from one of the first officers on the scene. This was Inspector Jim Cole. Here's what he had to say.
I think everybody acted instinctively, even the guys who were first on scene with the casualties under the bridge, who I think have been quite badly affected by it. Haven't seen them on the night, and since there, a lot of people have seen pretty nasty things. The off-duty officer, who's also one of our officers from Southwark, Charlie, he responded fantastically. You know, he was off-duty, unharmed, and he went to help the BTP officer who was injured. So it was pretty amazing, really.
Cressida, what everybody went through there, the officers, the emergency services, was horrendous. How does that affect the officers?
I pay tribute to them. Members of the public as well. The courage that was shown, the professionalism, the compassion, the quick thinking in an incredibly chaotic and confusing situation. I've spoken to many, many people, my first responders, the firearms officers, people like Jim, and members of the public, and it's very hard for those of us who weren't there to even be able to imagine what it would be like. So I do pay tribute to them, and part of my job is to try to look after my officers and staff as best I can. Of course, something like that will have an impact on people. We have very good occupational health and sort of well-being, welfare services. The most important thing, I think, though, is that their colleagues and their supervisors and people like me wrap around them and allow them to talk about it, allow them to give their evidence to the very best of their ability, and take care of them, and we will be.
How would you say we best protect our children? How, as a nation, do we keep ourselves safe?
So I think even in the face of this threat that you're talking about, there are some sort of basic things that we can and should all do. And I know the BBC has lots of resources for parents who are concerned about what to say to children. But it's really about being sensible, being well informed, being vigilant, and if you're concerned about anything, it's about contacting the police.
Christina, thank you very much for joining us today. As Christina mentioned just then, there is an anti-terrorist hotline that you can also contact if you do notice anything suspicious. The number for that is 0800 789 3291. In an emergency, you can also contact 999 RAF.
Next, an elderly woman on her way back home from the shops who found herself targeted by a cowardly mugger, leaving her with nasty injuries and heartbroken.
So painful, really. It was just a shock. And all I could see was the back of him running.
Jean Russell moved to West Dulwich in South London with her husband Doug 24 years ago.
I got married when I was 19. It was quite enjoyable. He was really life and soul of the party sort of thing, you know, so yes, he was a lovely man, really nice. I was married for 50 years, and then in April, he died now about 9 years ago. We had a good marriage.
Since retiring, Jean has been trying to lead an active life.
Well, I used to take the dog out, but a couple of weeks ago we had to have her put down. She was really old and a bit dodgy on her legs. And I do jigsaws, actually, jigsaw puzzle. And I try to do a bit of gardening when I can.
Last September, Jean left the house to do her weekly shop.
So I was coming from the main street, I think it's Westow Street, and I was going towards Sainsbury's.
Jean's routes took her through a side lane.
Not an alleyway as such. It was just, and it's next door to the pub. I mean, a good few people sort of walked there, but it was just at that chance I had to be walking there on my own.
But Jean wasn't alone that day.
And I just happened to see someone coming towards me sort of there, don't take much notice. And of course, that split second, he sort of rushed past me and pushed me to the ground. All I could see was the back of him running. He just sort of flew towards the main road. The arm sort of went straight out in front, you know, but it's the left arm. And of course, it dislocated the shoulder. So my arm was sort of all floppy. I couldn't really move.
Jean ended up being rushed to hospital and is now much more cautious.
I don't cut through now. I just sort of keep to the main road and walk round. That's when I go up on my own. I do get a bit wary, especially when someone's coming towards me. I just sort of plod along, but there are times where I really get upset.
The CCTV shows the male walking in front of Jean 20 seconds before her entrance into the alleyway, at which point he strikes her, she falls to the ground and runs off. It's important to catch this unknown suspect because he's targeting an elderly member of our communities, a 77-year-old lady. Could be your mum, your grandmother, and we don't want any further victims from this suspect.
And while her shoulder will heal, Jean won't recover from the loss of her necklace.
I was quite upset actually because my husband bought it for me. I had it a few years, and it did have sentimental values.
A really callous attack there on a vulnerable and elderly woman. PC Andy Garland is looking into this case. This has really hit Jean hard, hasn't it?
It has. She suffered from a dislocated shoulder as a result of the incident. Is also quite frightened and worried to go out her own home. As you can see from the CCTV, we've got a male approaching from the left of the screen. This is the male we're trying to identify. He goes around the corner, lies in wait for Jean, and then lunges at her, pulls her quite aggressively to the floor, takes her necklace, and then runs away.
It's just awful. I mean, how would you describe this mugger?
As you can see from CCTV, this is a male, we believe, possibly Asian male, in his 25 to 35 years of age, stocky build, around about 5'10". You can see that he's wearing a puffer jacket, blue in colour, with a hood, and those distinctive red shorts with a white stripe down, and strangely enough, white socks and sandals.
That is quite strange, isn't it? And you're looking for someone who may have been sold this necklace, aren't you?
We are. Anyone who's got information about the whereabouts of the necklace or the identification of the male, we're very interested.
Andy, thank you very much.
Yeah, what a pathetic bloke. If you know who he is, we would love to hear from you. And it's worth knowing that victims of any crime can speak to victim support. They're on 0808 16 89 111. Right, lots more to come this morning, including...
The thieves who made off from a family home with valuables worth more than £150,000. And the police officers on a mission, turning crime into aid for countries in need.
But before all of that, we've got our first batch of wanted faces here, starting with McCoy Josephs, who you may know as Jason Johnson or by his nickname Indian. Detectives want to question him after a man was kidnapped from an address in Nottingham, attacked and threatened with an imitation firearm. Josephs may also look like this now. He's 31 and has links to Leicester and Birmingham. Next is Christopher Charles Bell. He was jailed for 8 years for robbery and allowed out early on licence, but he's failed to stick to the conditions of his release and he's now wanted back in prison. Bell is 28 and has a Liverpudlian accent. This is another Christopher, this time Christopher Spellman. He was jailed for 7 years for 12 counts of indecent assault on a teenage girl. The 58-year-old has also failed to stick to the conditions of an early release from prison and is wanted back inside. Spellman has links across Merseyside. And finally, for this morning, this is Alan Senghua, although he also uses the surname Mbuku. The 21-year-old was arrested in connection with a shooting incident in Wellingborough in Northamptonshire, but was given bail and has failed to return for further questioning. Senghua has links to Bedford, Luton and Milton Keynes, and has a number of tattoos, including one of his grandmother on his left arm, and the words, "Life goes on his right arm." So if you know where any of these faces are, make sure you get in touch using the numbers on screen.
Next up, the family home in an upmarket part of London targeted at Christmas by some not very festive visitors.
London attracts more than 19 million tourists each year, but American-born Robin chose to settle here and call it home.
25 years ago, I came with small children, very young, and New York City at that time, which was really where we came from, was not a wonderful place to bring up children, and I didn't like the idea of them growing up there. Right here in this part of London, we have wonderful high streets, and it's busy and buzzy, and it's just great. It's just a very evocative place for me. I love the people, I love the history, I love the architecture, I love it all.
Over Christmas, Robin and her family left upmarket Marylebone to visit relatives in New York.
We always try to get over there to be with my parents, spend lots of time catching up with everybody. It's very important for us to go and visit.
Robin thought she'd left her house completely secure, but the family's absence had been noticed, and the night before New Year's Eve, 3 men managed to break in. The gang ransacked their way through the house, stealing valuables. Then in the bedroom, they struck gold. Before leaving, Robin had stored her most precious items away in a safe. In total, £150,000 worth of jewellery was stolen. The home CCTV shows the men trying to drag the heavy safe out of the house.
This is an affluent area of London. They've gone into the property and they've managed to find this safe, and they've got out there as quick as they can. I'm sure someone out there will know who these people are. The CCTV is really good. There's one point during the burglary where you can see on the CCTV one of the burglars, he looks straight up at the camera and he realises there's a camera there. His instant reaction is to try and cover his face to conceal his identity.
Robin's daughter, who had returned to the UK earlier than her parents, was the first to find the house had been burgled.
My daughter could have walked right in while it was going on. I mean, it's a terribly nerve-wracking feeling. My family could have been hurt. I don't know who these people were. I don't know what they were capable of doing.
This was a really traumatic burglary for the victims. It's horrible to think that someone's been in your home. It's really upsetting. And to come back and find your property has been taken is absolutely distressing. And nothing would give me greater pleasure than figure out who these three are and bring them to justice.
Along with the valuables, the thieves also stole a lifetime of memories. The safe contained Robin's family heirlooms.
My grandmother is gone, and I adored her. I will never have the things that I inherited from my grandmother. I had all my children's birth certificates, and in the United States, when your children are born, they stamp their little feet, and all those original inks, they're too precious, and they're gone. Now I feel much more vulnerable. How do you ever know what people, somebody that would invade your home, what they would do?
Just an awful thing to come back to, especially after Christmas. I'm with Detective Constable Stephen Bourne. What do we know about the thieves?
Yeah, we've got really good CCTV of these three suspects. They're all white men, aged about 30 to 40. Our first suspect, he's got this distinctive moustache. He's also wearing a grey beanie hat and a black top. The second gentleman, he's a larger build. He's got a distinctive bobble hat and he's wearing a dark top. And then finally, our last chap, he's wearing a grey baseball cap and he's using a scarf to cover the bottom of his face.
They used a vehicle, didn't they, to transport the safe?
Yeah, that's right. So we believe they've used a Renault Scenic, a 2004 to 2009 model. It's been parked up about 6:45 the evening before, and then around at 8:10 on the CCTV, we see this vehicle come into shot. It's manoeuvred around. Unfortunately, we don't see the registration plate of the vehicle. It's the headlights of the car saturate the camera, and we can't see that registration plate. But the car then goes onto the pavement, and we see the suspects load that safe into the back of the car. It would have been really distinctive and obvious to anyone going past, and I'd love to hear from those people, and I'm appealing to them now.
And quickly, what about the contents of the safe?
Yeah, so it's some of the family's most precious and sentimental heirlooms. It's over £150,000 worth of jewellery. Also things like birth certificates in there as well. It might be perhaps a pawnbrokers or someone like that has seen these items, and I'd love to hear from those people.
Stephen, thank you very much. Any information, you know what to do.
Now, have you ever wondered what police officers get up to when they're not on duty? Well, some of them give up their time for free volunteering for National Police Aid Convoys, an organisation which takes goods to war-torn areas and developing countries. Well, I'm joined in the studio now by David Scott, a retired police inspector who's a chairman of the charity. David, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us, how did the charity start?
It started with the Balkans Wars in the 1990s. Lots of people wanted to help the refugees in the camp. Similar to the pictures from Syria today, and it was in Yugoslavia. They couldn't get there, we could, using a bit of bluff and bluster and a bit of influence to get things there.
So it started off quite small, yes, but it's grown rapidly. Where are you now?
Well, rapidly, it's 25 years, but we put out 30 sea containers every year, which means generating kind of 60 sea containers worth, sorting it, loading it, and we go out to kind of anywhere there's a disaster, the Pakistan floods, the Gulf of Dominica disaster, Turkish earthquakes, but we're not doing that. We go out to Africa and Pakistan with education and medical stuff.
And of course you started with police officers, but now there's other people involved?
Very much. I mean, it's so wide now. A lot of teachers are involved and nurses and other professionals are involved to deliver the right things to the right people securely.
So what sort of things can you deliver? Obviously we've got some clothing here, a good example.
We do major on medical and educational. So you can get so many hospital beds in containers, so many desks and chairs in there, but what do you put in between the legs of the desk and inside the filing cabinet? Well, it's stuff like this.
Okay, and where does this come from then, the clothing that we've got?
Two major sources. One is label stuff that's last year's designs that the owners don't want to go on the street market.
That's the code.
It's this one here.
It hasn't sold.
It hasn't sold. They don't want to go on the street markets. It's given to us so long as it goes to Africa. And the other stuff.
So what about the other stuff? Because these are actually some of these are counterfeit goods, aren't they?
That's right. Trading standards and the police seize counterfeit goods and stolen goods. It goes through the court process. Then it goes through a safety check. And if it's safe to go to people, then we get it. And it goes to the filing cabinets, goes in the desk drawers, and gets delivered all across.
So once this is safe, they can give it to you. Obviously, it can't be sold over here because it's counterfeit, but this can really help some youngsters. And we've got some images, some gorgeous images here. We can see some of the stuff that you've sent out, but I want to see the image of the youngsters getting their stuff. What's this here?
That's an orphanage in Makeni, in Lusaka, in Zambia. This is an orphanage and the children are given these.
And we can see one of the lads getting a pair of shoes now. Look at that.
Makes a difference between schools.
So much difference for him. Very quickly, you are going away in a couple of days. Where are you going?
I've got a team going to Malawi and a team going to Zambia, all self-funded. So yes, we...
David, please take photos. Please come back and see us when you come back. I would love to hear about your trip. Thank you so much for joining us. Michelle.
Now, this new headquarters for the Metropolitan Police isn't so new after all. I've been finding out about the Yard's fascinating history.
If you read detective stories, like most of us do, you've heard of Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard has been home to London's Metropolitan Police for nearly 200 years.
Scotland Yard. Why, thank you very much, I'll get police right along. Heard of that?
The bobbies, or peelers as they were originally known, still pound the pavement today. But their HQ has moved with the times over the years. Scotland Yard's detectives have always looked to be at the cutting edge of technology, from the development of fingerprint analysis to the latest in forensic techniques. Now, New Scotland Yard is back where it was 50 years ago, right in the heart of Westminster. And out front, that familiar rotating triangle. It was designed in 1968 as a symbol of never-ending vigilance. The new Scotland Yard wouldn't be the same without it.
And with me now is Paul Bickley, creator of the Met's Crime Museum. So Paul, talk me through the uniform you're wearing.
Good morning. This fine uniform dates back to about 1870. You can see the difference to that in today's uniform. You can see the helmet. We've got the divisional number and the area that the officer works at. On the collar of the uniform, you can see again the division and the officer's number. Looks very smart, very fine. Big difference. Prior to this uniform, the officers only had this as a means of communication. If they needed assistance, they would stand and swing the rattle. The distance it would carry is about 400 yards, so not a great deal of help. With this uniform, you can see I've now got a whistle. If I need assistance, take out the whistle.
Far more useful, louder.
It's going to carry about 900 yards, so much more effective, a lot easier to carry.
And what about the truncheon?
Truncheon. These are the truncheons of the time.
I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Fantastic. It's got the date on the back, initials, but it's very ornate, so not very practical as a weapon as a truncheon.
Looks nice, though.
It looks nice.
As an ornament.
Not very practical
No.
as a truncheon. So.
Now, Paul, you've roped in some of your officer pals to talk us, through the uniforms through the years. What about
this uniform would date from the 60s, 70s and 80s. You see they've got the royal insignia on the helmet. You've got lots of pockets on the uniform to make it more practical. Slightly shorter truncheon. The big difference is the radio. No longer a need for a rattle or whistle. The radio will put him in effective, puts him in instant communication with his colleagues, the station. So for the first time ever, officers on the beat could feel reassured they're in contact with their colleagues.
Thanks very much, Keith. And moving on to the modern bobby.
The modern officer. Much more professional, shorter button. The radio, much better than the 1960s version. With this thing, you can call the length of the country, you can use it as a mobile phone, and the quality is fantastic. We've got the body cam, a recent introduction, but very good at calming down situations. If we get situations and people are irate, they see the cam, they know they're being recorded, they calm down. Stab vest, very sadly, a very important part of the modern uniform. Today's officer, a great threat. You get people running away from dangers, but officers run in, they need that protection.
And of course, this is a uniform that we'll all recognise. Paul, thank you very much. Now, Rav, I know you're not quite old enough to have worn this lovely uniform, but tell me, what were things like back in your day?
Well, as you can see, I always was very dapper, if I do say so myself. Right, just time before we go for a look at what's been coming in on the calls, texts and emails. Now, a number of you have been calling in about the Lewis Elwyn murder in Tooting, some with details about that burnt-out car. The police want information in relation to that case. And many of you passing on your admiration for Sergeant Carol Whedon here, who narrowly escaped serious injury when she brought down an armed robber on Stoke Newington High Street. Brilliant work by her and her team. Thank you for everyone that's got in touch. Michelle, tell us, where are you tomorrow?
Oh, Ralph, well, I'm going to be following in your footsteps tomorrow, actually. We are heading to the Met Police's College in Hendon, where we're going to be finding out just what it takes to become a detective. We'll also be following a crack team of detectives as they chase down...
Oh, it's going to be great, Michelle. I know it sounds fascinating. For more details about the crimes on today's programme, head to our website. But before we go, Here's another look at today's Wanted Faces. If any of them look familiar to you, then pick up the phone and tell us where they are. We're going to be back tomorrow morning at 9:15, just after breakfast. So until then, do take care. Bye-bye. It's the first day of this summer's Crimewatch Roadshow. Thanks for joining us. Crimewatch Roadshow is all about asking for your help to tackle crime. And for the next month, we'll be live every weekday morning with cases from across the country. We've got some really important appeals coming up. But of course, we've all been particularly shocked and saddened by the terror attacks over the past months. As a former police officer, my heart goes out to all the victims and their families, and of course, the emergency services who've come to their aid. So we're starting the series with a special programme broadcasting live from the new headquarters of the force, which leads on counter-terrorism in the UK. The Metropolitan Police. Michelle Ackerley is at New Scotland Yard.
Good morning, Rav. Yes, we are starting the new series from the nerve centre of the Met Police. This is the newly refurbished New Scotland Yard, right in the heart of Westminster. And it's from here that much of the response to the recent terror attacks has been coordinated. It's also home to new Commissioner Cressida Dick, who's leading the police operations into the terrorist attacks. We're going to be speaking to her live on the programme a little later on. She's taken some time out of her incredibly busy schedule.
Thanks, Michelle. But now it's time for our first appeal. Sadly, it also involves a fatal stabbing. Knife crime is a particular problem in London, and this morning we need your help to bring about justice for one young man's family.
I'm actually in his shoes, trying to find somebody to help him. I can't breathe, and then I lose it. I just lose it. My child is lying on that road.
20-year-old Lewis Elwyn lived in South London with his family.
Lewis, caring young man, even at her flat. Loved animals, loved playing games, loved drawing. A normal teenager.
He was at the age where he didn't know what he wanted to do.
I like to feel that everyone needs a bit of guidance, a role model. So where I was a qualified electrician and my brother was a qualified plumber, we felt what better way to learn than from your brothers.
And he just wanted to find a job. He just wanted to just work and then belong. He loved his hair. He was into this loose plaits, and he didn't want me to do his hair because he said I was too rough. Because when I combed it. And boys don't like their hair being combed.
On a Monday afternoon in April last year, Lewis was out with his mum. She was dropping him off to see a friend.
I was quite happy to drop him because, you know, I was out and about. We went down to Tooting. He was talking to his sister on the phone, his big sister Tanya, and he was giving me direction of where he wanted to be. He was in very good spirits, very good spirits. He was laughing, he was happy.
CCTV shows Sandra's blue car pulling up on Moyser Road at the junction with Ribblesdale Road.
When I dropped him to where he needed to be, I then bipped the horn because I noticed that his trousers were a little bit low, and I don't like when the trousers are low.
Cameras also captured the moment that Sandra says goodbye to Lewis.
Told him, pull up your trousers, and then he smiled and hopped along the road. I then turned the car around and went to the doctors.
As Lewis made his way down the quiet residential streets of Tooting, he called his friend to let him know he was on his way. But Lewis never made it. With one blow, Lewis was stabbed in the back. He stumbled down the street for a full minute before collapsing to the floor. Sandra got the call telling her what had happened.
I felt shaking driving. I was shaking. I couldn't breathe. I was cold. It was just disbelief that my child was lying down there, and I just dropped him off.
Lewis died at the scene less than an hour after his mum dropped him off.
To hear the words that he's dead, you know, that's the hardest part, because you just know you're going to come home without them. I never thought I'd bury my child before me. Nobody should have to do that. We wanted to do a march in memory of Lewis. With the placards and the leaflets and the T-shirts, it became more effective. We wanted people to know who's in that coffin and why they're in that coffin. It's because he got stabbed.
Justice will be served, you know. We just got to let the youth understand that, you know, this crime cannot be overlooked.
You can't just stand back and watch this happen to another mother, another youth. You know, when is enough enough?
Nothing justifies you taking a person's life, nothing. And I wouldn't, if it was Lewis that did it to somebody else, I wouldn't have it. No. Somehow, I would turn him in. So I would like to know who did it to my child.
Such a tragic case. Joining me now is Detective Inspector Will Reynolds, who's leading this investigation. Detective, what do we know about Lewis's final movements?
We know Lewis was with his mother that afternoon, and she dropped him off in Moyser Road at about 3:30 in the afternoon. Once he got out of the car, about 3:36, he made a telephone call to a friend nearby. He made his way over to his friend's house, which was around Penwortham Road, but unfortunately he didn't make it because he was attacked and stabbed in the back. Having been stabbed in the back, he went back down Penwortham Road, where unfortunately he collapsed, and despite the best efforts of paramedics and members of the public, he tragically died at about 3:40 p.m.
Not only was this in the middle of the afternoon, it was very close to a school, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was very close to Penwortham Primary School. Now, this was at 3:30 in the afternoon, which would be a time when the school was closing. Mums and dads, parents and carers would have been picking up their children, and we're appealing to them to contact us if they've seen anything that could help us solve this murder.
It's a year on now. What is the latest?
Well, the latest is that we believe we've identified a suspect who's a black male who's wearing a blue top and grey jogging trousers. We've got a car which is on CCTV, which is circulating the area. It's a silver Peugeot, and we believe that car is involved in the murder because it was found subsequently, about 3 hours later, burnt out, very close by to the scene. So it's very significant.
Now, there is a reward for this case, isn't there, for information leading to a conviction?
Absolutely. There's a £20,000 reward that's available to try and solve this murder. People are motivated by different things in terms of contacting us, but we hope this amount of money might be an incentive to someone who has seen something, who might be scared or frightened, to contact us and please help us.
We heard Lewis's mum in the film there. She just wants justice for her son, doesn't she?
Absolutely. It's been incredibly painful.